In the late 1980s, there was an athlete who looked almost unreal. He ran like an Olympic sprinter. He hit baseballs farther than most power hitters. And on a football field, he seemed physically unstoppable. His name was Bo Jackson. And for a brief moment in sports history, it looked like he might accomplish something no athlete had ever done before. He was dominating two professional sports at the same time: baseball and football. For many fans, it felt like watching a myth come to life. But behind the legend of Bo Jackson is a much more complicated story, one that eventually forced him to make a decision that may have cost baseball a Hall of Fame career. To understand how that happened, you have to go back to the beginning. Bo Jackson grew up in Bessemer, Alabama, where his athletic ability quickly became the stuff of local legend. Coaches noticed early that he was faster, stronger, and more explosive than almost anyone he competed against. In high school, he starred in football, baseball, and track. In track events, he posted times that rivaled elite sprinters. In football, defenders struggled even to slow him down. And on the baseball field, his power and speed made him one of the most dangerous players on the diamond. By the time he graduated, he was one of the most highly recruited athletes in the country. Jackson chose to attend Auburn University, where his legend only grew larger. At Auburn, Bo Jackson became one of the most dominant college football players of his generation. He ran through defenders with a combination of speed and power that seemed almost unfair. His long strides allowed him to break huge runs, while his strength made it nearly impossible for defenders to bring him down. In 1985, his dominance was officially recognized when he won the Heisman Trophy. For most players, that moment would have guaranteed an easy path to the NFL. But Bo Jackson had other ideas. He loved baseball just as much as football. In fact, many scouts believed his long-term future might actually be better in baseball. Major league teams had noticed him years earlier. His power, speed, and arm strength made him an extremely rare athlete for the sport. So when the Kansas City Royals selected Bo Jackson in the 1986 MLB draft, they believed they might be getting one of the most gifted players baseball had ever seen. At first, though, things didn't go smoothly. Earlier that same year, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had drafted Jackson first overall in the 1986 NFL Draft. But Jackson refused to play for them. The reason involved a controversial recruiting visit that had accidentally cost him his final season of college baseball eligibility. Jackson believed the Buccaneers organization had misled him about the rules, and he never forgot it. Instead of joining Tampa Bay, Jackson made a decision that shocked the football world. He chose baseball. In 1986, he signed with the Kansas City Royals and began his professional baseball career. And almost immediately, the potential that scouts had talked about for years started to appear on the field. Bo Jackson wasn't just strong. He was explosive. When he hit the ball, it jumped off the bat with incredible force. In the outfield, his arm was so powerful that runners often refused to challenge him. But what made him truly special was his speed. Few players in baseball history could combine power and speed the way Bo Jackson could. He could hit a home run in one inning and steal a base the next. Fans quickly realized they were watching something unique. But while his baseball career was beginning to take shape, the NFL had not forgotten about him. And soon, Bo Jackson would attempt something that almost no athlete had ever dared to try: playing both sports at the highest professional level. In 1987, Bo Jackson made another surprising decision. He agreed to play football after all. But not for Tampa Bay. Instead, he signed with the Los Angeles Raiders, a franchise known for embracing unconventional talent. The Raiders allowed Jackson to do something unprecedented. He would play baseball during the summer with the Kansas City Royals, then join the Raiders during the NFL season in the fall. For a moment, it looked impossible. But Bo Jackson made it work. During the late 1980s, he became one of the most electrifying athletes in American sports. On the football field, his runs looked almost surreal. Defenders bounced off him. Long touchdown runs became routine. One famous run on Monday Night Football saw him sprint down the sideline so fast that he accidentally ran into the tunnel behind the end zone. Meanwhile, in baseball, his power continued to develop. In 1989, Jackson hit 32 home runs for the Kansas City Royals and was selected to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. During that game, he led off with a massive home run and later made a spectacular catch in the outfield. He was named All-Star Game MVP. For a moment, it seemed clear that Bo Jackson's baseball career was only beginning to reach its peak. Many scouts believed that if he focused entirely on baseball, he could eventually become one of the sport's greatest players. His combination of speed, power, and arm strength was almost unmatched. But in January of 1991, everything changed. During a playoff game between the Raiders and the Cincinnati Bengals, Jackson caught a short pass and broke into the open field. He was tackled from behind. The play looked ordinary, but when Jackson stood up, something was wrong. He had suffered a devastating hip injury. At first, doctors believed it was simply a dislocation, but the damage turned out to be far more serious. The injury had cut off blood flow to the bone, a condition known as a vascular necrosis. For a professional athlete whose game depended on explosive speed and strength, it was catastrophic. The Raiders released him soon afterward. Jackson attempted to return to baseball with the Chicago White Sox and later the California Angels. Remarkably, he even managed to hit several home runs after the injury. But the reality was unavoidable. The speed that once made him unstoppable was gone. Without that speed, Bo Jackson was no longer the same player. By 1994, his professional career had effectively come to an end. Looking back today, many baseball historians still wonder what might have happened if things had unfolded differently. If Bo Jackson had chosen baseball alone, if the injury had never occurred, if he had been able to dedicate his entire athletic focus to the game. Because during his peak years, he showed flashes of something extraordinary, a player with Hall of Fame talent. Instead, Bo Jackson's legacy became something different. Not the story of a single sport legend, but the story of perhaps the most incredible multi-sport athlete the modern era had ever seen. And the truth behind why he never reached baseball's Hall of Fame isn't just about ability. It's about a decision. A career divided between two sports. And one devastating injury that changed everything.